And we back. Welcome to another episode of Three in the Possible. You know who it be. It's your boy DRE, repping that 3 and P. And I'm here with my other brothers from another mother. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. Go ahead, bro.
Jay Gill from the South Side, the most southernest tip of Minneapolis.
Wow. Okay. So last week we were just
It's what it is. You go one block down, no more Minneapolis.
last week.
I'm on.
What?
No, you was talking. You was cutting in while I was talking like a rude ass nigga. So
In any event, it's A-Rob from the South Side. Back in the building.
Back
One
in the
more time.
time once again. Well, welcome back.
did you just shoulder shimmy?
Do not hit the shoulder shimmy on them, please.
Okay. Yeah,
No,
try that.
taking
Try
out.
that. Try that with the National Guard, buddy.
You see, I'm drinking.
The National Guard's in town, folks.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Um,
that's where we start, right? First of all, how do you fellas feel about that?
Well,
about George Floyd?
I'm a pause
losing-
quick and just say, yeah, rest in peace to George Floyd in the manner in which he died. But go ahead.
losing his life in that way to the police. Again, we're seeing this. We pretty much had the whole video just about. How do you feel?
I'm gonna be frank with you. I could not watch the entirety of the video. I watched a minute, maybe 2 minutes, and I was disgusted. I was angry. I was depressed. I mean, that one for me hit closer to home than, I don't want to say any other black killings, but this one, it was. I mean, this is. I don't know how you describe this other than this was just broad murder and murder in broad daylight. There was literally no emotions involved. It was literally they just sucked the life out of this brother. And I mean, for you and I, Jay Gill, I know Dre's from the north side, but 38th Street is almost as big a staple in South Minneapolis for Southsiders as Lake Street is, right? Think of the number of times that you've been on that corner of 38th Street. I can't, there's a number of times, growing up as a kid that I caught the 5 to 38th Street, then had to catch the bus over to school, right? So we've been on that corner, whether that's, almost every Southsider has spent time on that corner, that intersection, whether you're hanging out there meeting friends, whether you're at the Super America or Speedway today across the street, whether there was people banging on the street, whether it was catching the bus. Like, if you're from the South Side, you've spent time on that corner. So to see that occur on that corner really hit me. And in all honesty, I've struggled all week. It's Friday. It happened Monday. We didn't hear about it till Tuesday, but I struggled all week long with dealing with that. And so for me, it was a struggle. It was a struggle.
Yeah, for me as well. I watched the video and it was just, again, like Rob said, you felt disgust. The anger did come up from it, as you can even see this officer looking down at George and continue to not, lift his knee. And yeah, I mean, it's just kind of, it rocked me in a different way, and also just been throughout the whole week, just kind of just been this weird, like, numb in a funk type mentality where it's just like, it's just, I don't know how to really describe it. It's just, I was just in a way numb. And it kind of just brought concerns to me how I felt, how they would describe George, as he called him, a gentle giant, and how he was like always aware of his size and he didn't want to be intimidating to people. And it always makes me nervous and think about when there's times, like, I don't know, we talked about it in our last episode, where I always felt like I had to take away any threatening presence of me just being there from someone, just because I'm a bigger person, I'm a bigger guy. And that stuff just kind of really hit home for me and just made me nervous. And yeah, man, just I don't know. It's just kind of lost for words with stuff.
For me, I used to get, there was a point where I used to get haircuts. I believe it was called the Championship Barber, the barber shop or something like that, Champions Barbershop or something like that. And then they had a little clothing spot where I may or may not have bought a shirt or not there. I live, I mean, it's a long walk. It's a decent walk, but I live in walking distance from there. When I was going to school, high school, I used to do a lot of walking home. I would get off of the 18 and I'm not a person who likes to wait on the bus. So I would walk and, if I caught it, if I saw it and caught it, I would. But a lot of times I just walked all the way home from there. So I've been on that corner or walk past or getting my hair cut around there plenty of times. I've gone there plenty of times to get barbecue, which is right down on that same street. Actually, there was another little barber shop down the street where the Jamaican spot, I can't remember the name, but the Jamaican spot down there, I used to, there used to be a haircut place in there. So I've been there plenty. It just, I guess it hit home, right? It was so close to home. My mother doesn't live far from there. So that's where I grew up. That's crazy to see. And I didn't watch more than a few seconds of the video. I turned it off right away. I guess I'm squeamish. I don't want to see the life choked out of anybody, good or bad. The police officer, I think for at least a time, he just had his hand in his pocket. It's just like another day, at the office on break, not even doing work, just on this man's neck. This man's pleading for his life. I think he yelled for his mother or something like that. Like, man, can you imagine you're dying and
who's passed away, right? So that was nuts. So he's screaming for a lady who's been gone, who has passed away for like 2 or 3 years.
2 years, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, well, yeah. Like, you go ahead, J.G.
We don't know what he's seeing. We don't know what is in his mind. We don't, I mean, this is murder.
Yeah.
I won't hold my breath to say that he'll go to prison or do any time whatsoever. As far as I'm concerned, he might become president someday. This is the qualifications to become president these days seem to be being racist, being a bigot. And we'll talk a little bit about that later, but man, just anger is mostly what I felt. But yeah, just, you feel scared too. Like that could be me, man. Every time I see the cops, I freeze, and get a little nervous. And I bet that's exactly what they want.
And the thing is, because we've been on that corner so much, like I remember back in, middle school, we didn't start till 10, right? So when I got off the 5 and was walking down 38 to go, I've been stopped by the cops thinking, it's truancy. I'm skipping school or whatever on that same block. So I think because it was so close, like having grown up there, like it just hit so different that I was drained of energy the entire week. And it was like, you see these things happen throughout our nation and you go to work the next day and it's like, I got to kind of put this behind me and do what I'm supposed to do while I'm here on the clock. But this one I could not shake. Like I'm in meetings, like I don't want to hear what people got to say. Nothing's funny to me. Mm-hmm. I don't have energy. I don't really feel like eating. Like it just hit different this time.
Yeah. Well, those are people in the corporate office. They're not affected by this, right? At least unless they happen to have a business here in Minneapolis, I don't want to say they don't care, but how many people brought it up? Maybe one, maybe two. How many people brought it up in your office? In my office, they're more pro-union. It's a different feel. But I bet in your office it just didn't even register for them.
Yeah, that's interesting you said that, because I had a conversation with some people, and there are some companies that we work with that sent out different things, right? Different letters and things. And then I'm not going to get into what our company has done necessarily, but individuals have reached out to check and how you holding up, how you doing. I can't say I necessarily relate to what you're going through, but I understand you're feeling a different type of way without me having said anything, right? Because normally I try to stay out of social issues and posting on social media, but I did make a post about this one because of feeling drained. Like I just felt depleted. So individuals reached out, but I wouldn't say it was like a company-wide thing or anything like that. What about you, Dre? Did anybody?
I mean, but not really anybody really reached out, besides our group chat with you and some mutual friends we have. We have our little discussion throughout the week, just kind of checking in on each other. But just even in my everyday life, it started becoming so I was hearing about it so much. I started had to send in little boundaries. Like I didn't want to hear about it again. I didn't want to, or if people were talking about the video or talking about looking at the video or posting the video, I didn't want to look at that. Like I snoozed a lot of people on social media because I was like, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this right now. And kind of how you said you felt depleted. That's just how I was feeling. Like me talking to someone throughout the week. She was telling me like, you seem off. She thought I was like mad at her or something. I was like, I'm not mad at you. It's just I can't really describe how I'm feeling right now. I just can't really laugh. Me being someone who likes to laugh, joke around, it just wasn't. I didn't feel right to joke around right now. It really didn't. And then just kind of just processing everything, and it wasn't until like yesterday I kind of felt a little bit normal, like myself. But even then, it's still kind of off for me right now.
How y'all feel? Oh, go ahead, Jacob. I know you were about to say.
Oh, no. I think you're going just where I was going to go.
I was just going to say, how do y'all feel about the response to it? Right?
So the protests, I find myself, I'm usually in Dre's boat. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear about it. But actually, quite the opposite. Now, I didn't post a lot. I did post one thing, one or two things, maybe three. But anyway, I was watching the videos and I saw the stores getting looted. I saw the flames. I saw peaceful gatherings as well. I saw people cleaning up afterwards. I mean, I saw it all. And I won't lie, man. A few of those times when they were burning down the precinct, when they were doing different things, I kind of felt like, yeah, get them, But the more I think about it and thought about it, I'm not one of those, we're destroying our own community crowd. And I got a whole nother thing about that. Cause some of you guys on Facebook, you're not even good moms and dads. Shut the hell up. You're not a leader. Cool if you have something to say, that's great. But man, some of the people I knew personally making, talking about others and what they're doing and what they shouldn't be doing, I was a little disgusted. Like you shut up. But anyway, I kind of came around on that. Our grocery stores are trashed, and I'm saying ours, not mine. I don't live over there anymore. The streets are trashed. Businesses are closed. We have a curfew tonight of 8 p.m. here in Minnesota. The destruction's going to affect us, or at least the people that live in that community. I work in that community basically. Mm-hmm. And maybe some of these businesses won't open up. Maybe new businesses won't want to come, and I don't believe that actually, but that's a possibility. So there is going to be a negative effect. There already aren't grocery stores on the north side, as many as there need to be where people like me, people like you guys live. So let's be, I hate to say it this way, it sounds so foul, but let's be careful of what we are destroying. Make sure it's not our grocery stores that our grandmas and our aunts and our nephews need to eat, and Black-owned businesses are even, people are just taking down everything. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, because I don't think it's all Black folks like they're trying to blame it on us. Burning shit down really ain't Black people's style. That's how I feel about it. Maybe break a window, but lighting everything on fire, that's y'all. That's the other man.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to the white folks and Asian folks, Somalians. I should just say Africans, right? People of color. Maybe that covers it. Men, women, young and old out there, just not taking this shit lying down. Shout out to y'all.
Mm-hmm. And not even just in Minneapolis or the Twin Cities in general, just across the nation, we have other cities that are also joining in this protest as well. So,
yeah, L.A., Kentucky has had
Phoenix,
some. What's that?
Phoenix,
Washington D.C.
Yeah. So I'm conflicted with them. Well, maybe not conflicted. Twofold, right? I've never really been a person that feels like protests lead to change. And the reason I say that is because our parents have been protesting since the 60s. And if you look at the events of Monday, it's like it's the same stuff that was happening in the 60s, right? Mm-hmm. So where has that gotten us? Same thing with the riots, right? I mean, it's destruction of property, whatever. But what I do think is people have just had enough. So I have no problem with any of the protests, any of the rioting, any of the destruction of property. I don't personally have a problem with it because people have just flat out had enough. I mean, this was murder in broad daylight, and Wednesday, Thursday, there is no arrest. What do you expect people to do? Take this laying down? I mean, we have had a history from Philando Castile, Jamar Clark, and now George Floyd getting murdered by Minneapolis police. So I don't have a problem with it, right? So go ahead, express yourselves. But I do think the protests and the riots are the emotional healing, right? So it's I'm angry. I've got to lash out. This makes me feel better because I'm able to get this anger out in a method that heals my emotions. But I feel like I don't want us to have these protests and these riots and city officials say, okay, let them have it. Let them get their anger out. A month from now, they'll forget about this and we'll move on without making any lasting change. For whatever reason, this one feels different. And what I hope comes out of it is
it's different. It feels different. It's not just a day or two.
Right.
This has been going on all week, folks.
Mm-hmm.
You need to watch what streets you drive down because you don't want to be caught in that mix, and if you ain't got all black on, you know.
Might be a wrap.
Yeah.
But what I do hope comes from it is people don't forget once the charges are brought and hopefully there's a conviction, and we'll get into that because I have some thoughts about why they brought the charges that they did. But after this, we don't need you guys to sit down and listen to us, right? You've been listening to us since the 60s and beyond. We don't want to hear, I hear your concerns. We want seats at the table. We want people that have the ability to make decisions, right? So I'm talking about people in housing that can, create equitable or affordable housing for our communities, right? For our community in particular. We want people in finance that assure finances, grants, business loans go to our community. We want people in those positions that have this decision-making authority to really impact change within our community, right? So we don't want you just to hear us and let us get our frustration out. This is the change what I think we need people that have decision-making authority. And then back to the protest and the rioting, none of us really went, not really went, none of us did the protest and the rioting, right? But I did go out, what was it, Thursday? Last night was Thursday. So I went out Thursday and kind of walked through the Lake Street area just to see, because Lake Street used to be a vibrant street for us on the south side, right? So you used to have black people up and down Lake Street like that. That used to be the hangout spot from, 60s, 70s on, whatever. Lake Street was a black spot. So I wanted to kind of go and see what the damage really was. And I walked through it. So, you couldn't get too close. They had barricades up for different streets. So I had to park a couple blocks over and then walk to Lake Street. But that Target busted up. You know, they had graffiti written all on the walls. You know, fuck 12, fuck the pigs. You know, these are our streets. You know, Target was busted open. The alarm was still going off. There's water all on the ground, trash all on the ground. People still running in and out of Target trying to grab stuff. One of the young dudes that I saw out there was like, man, I don't really want to go in, but I do kind of want to go see what happened. And then like somebody busted through the door, so he was like, "Oh, let's go!" So then he ran in there.
Oh hell no!
Yeah, but
well, let us see near your trash because I want to see if there's a big old TV wrapper.
Here you
the
go.
Cardboard for a TV. Come on, I can see it in your glasses. I can see that Samsung. Is that Sony?
Yeah, no, I didn't really. Yeah, glasses. Got some of the blue screens from there. No, it was just I didn't necessarily want to go in, but I wanted to see what it was like, right? And I tell you guys, I've never been to a war zone, but this is probably the closest I've ever. I mean, with the graffiti, the trash all on the ground, glass windows broken out, and then if you burnt buildings. Well, I was working my way around, but to go to Cub Foods is broken open. I mean, you got people riding up on carts, loading up the carts, running out of Cub Foods with all the food and stuff. Like,
somebody got to eat it.
I get it, but I think the other thing that's not being talked about before I dive back into the burned buildings is we're in the middle of a pandemic too. That's what people don't remember. There's been 30, 40 million people that have been laid off, right? So a lot of these people probably don't have jobs, probably been laid off. They're not getting anything other than that one stimulus check, maybe unemployment, but we've been hearing that's backed up. So if they got an opportunity to go get some free food or necessities or things they need,
we hungry.
They're damn sure gonna go get it, right? Mm-hmm. Like, hey, they busted this open. They've abandoned this Target, this Cub Foods. I got a chance to go get food. I don't know when I'm gonna get paid again. I got a chance to get deodorant, necessities for my house, toothpaste. Like, people are unemployed. We're also in the middle of a pandemic. So, but then, there was multiple buildings burnt down. I saw an 18-wheeler burnt to a crisp. I saw a car that was nothing but metal left, like it was burnt to a crisp. Wendy's that was over there, burnt down. That AutoZone was burnt down. The precinct was still up when I was
there. Baconators.
Come on, man.
Yeah, no more Baconators. But the hood gonna be in shape soon because everything burnt down. They ain't gonna be able to eat out.
But what people I think, or what the media I think is not being shown, is that it's people from all races out there. It's not just black people out there, right? There was a large majority of white folks. There was a lot of Hispanic folks. There was a lot of Somalians. Like, everybody was out there, right? Don't get it twisted based on what they're showing or clips or images that you're seeing. Mm-hmm. There were people, from all races out there. And if you go back and really search, the person who started breaking into the AutoZone there, which was one of the first places that the destruction began, was a white dude with a hammer and a gas mask. Now, I've never been a protester, like I said, but who knows to bring a hammer and a gas mask to a first protest?
An AutoZone employee or owner?
Well, that's
just saying. Just saying. Right? Just saying. Like, look, I've been looking at some of these flames, and I'm just thinking, like, damn. Black people don't burn shit down like that. Like, we might our barbecue fire don't be that hot. Come on. That's just not us. That is not us. So somebody knows what they're doing. Somebody is efficient at it. They're making the whole building is just like, that ain't us, man. That is not us. We don't got crowbars at the crib.
Literally.
You got a crowbar, A-Rob?
I do in the garage.
Oh, you mother! Why couldn't you just say no? But we don't.
That's the wrong dude. You know he got every tool in the shed.
Right.
Oh, God, man, see.
But you're right to a point, right? You're not to a point, but you're right. In that point, there was a brick building that was a whole block long that was burnt to a crisp. How do you, as a protester, right, go in with anything that destroys an entire cedar block building? There's no way you go to a protest with the necessary tools or anything to do that sort of damage.
Let's keep it real. Ruckinen wanted a new police station. That's what they wanted.
Bro, chill.
That's what they wanted. And that's what they're gonna get. That's what they're gonna get.
But the first night of the riots, I think it was Tuesday night or Wednesday night, they did bust up the police cars, right? Mm-hmm. So the police cars from the 3rd precinct were over on 38th Street where they were trying to hold a peaceful protest. And they just started busting out window stuff.
Do people know where the money comes from to fix all this stuff? It's not like the police just got a tree in the backyard of the police station and the money growing. That's coming from us anyway.
Taxpayers, yeah.
Coming from us.
Yeah. But like
I don't care.
People are fed up. That's just been the sentiment that I've taken from these protests. People are fed up. Like, we've had enough. You're going to do something to change this, or we're going to burn this motherfucker down. And they are acting on it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, I don't have a problem with it. I don't think it's the best way to get change, but it's a way to get your voice heard.
The only way to get change is, I mean, damn, I hate to say this type of shit, but the only way to get change is violence. You take respect. You take power. You don't get it. It's not given to you. What are we going to wait for them to, decide, like, maybe killing them is a little much in the streets. I look at it like this, like, why is Nat Turner seen as a hero in our community? He because let's be real, they did some foul shit, right? Mm-hmm. When you do what they're doing to us today, what they were doing even more of then, eventually, it's coming for you, your babies, it won't always be us laying dead in that street. One day it's gonna be you, and that's your motivation to treat people better, to be fair, to give justice to everyone. We're at the point we just expect not to get justice. We just expect it. We don't believe it. We don't believe it until he served 100 years. We won't believe it.
Well, that's what history has shown, right? When events like this happen, when black men, black women, black people in general are killed by the police,
people of color,
they are 9 times out of 10 the officers walk. I think the one police conviction we've had was when the Somalian guy shot
a white woman,
white lady. That's the one conviction I think of that we've had.
And she got 40 million, 30 million.
But you know who pays that? Taxpayers too. So when they pay out for this, it's going to hit taxpayers too. Because they're going to have to pay out for this. There's no way they ain't going to have to pay out for this. But taxes in Minnesota are likely going to go up because of the city having to raise more money for it. But you know what? I mean, his family deserves every dime they get because this was murder in broad daylight. But Jay Gill, you touched on earlier that black businesses, weren't getting touched. And what I saw when I walked the street, especially 38th Street, is a lot of these places had black-owned business on it, and they were unscathed. Like,
so you saw that?
Yeah. Oh. I mean, I got pictures of it. The barbershop that you was talking about on 38th, around the corner, as you head east from Chicago, back like towards your mom's crib. There's
Did they get Eddie?
I didn't check Eddie's. If they got Eddie's,
I hope they ain't get Eddie's. No, not Eddie.
I don't think there's been anything south of like 38th Street.
Okay.
So
okay. Well, Studio 23 or something like that, and also a black-owned bar or something just got destroyed. So
was it black-owned?
Yeah,
the person of color.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard with the Facebook stuff, but the dude was on Facebook. I mean, he was on video. He was crying. He was, I guess I'm a little squeamish. I can't really get into that. I didn't watch the full video just because, man, like this stuff hurts my soul. Only thing that made me feel better, which is maybe sick, was when. The protesters were out there strong or buildings was going up in flame. And like I said, I'm kind of having second thoughts about that. But that's the only thing I've has got me through the week, and I could, throw some jokes. Somebody was on live and they were walking in Target, and I was like, yo, grab me a TV, That's it.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And then there was some stuff that was like, but I think as a people, that's how we deal with things too, right?
We just joke about it.
Black folks, we try to find some kind of humor because that's how we deal with the pain. But I saw somebody had stole a train, and they was like 7 or 8 deep in this train going
riding down the street.
Yeah. I said, who steals a train? Like, it was wild. But
I wanted to ask y'all, brothers. We were talking about the guy who started everything. I don't want to say started everything, but was knocking out the windows at AutoZone. They got him on camera. I believe he's a police officer. Do you guys believe there are agitators not from Minneapolis that could care less about Mr. Floyd that are kind of in this crowd starting shit, escalating shit? What do you think about that, Dre? I know you heard about it.
Honestly, yeah. When I saw that, and I saw like he was breaking out the windows, and we saw other protesters there, like a lot of African American ones stopping him, asking what he's doing and confronting him. He seemed like he was on a mission. He went in there, broke those windows, and got the hell out of there as quick as he could.
And then, he knew just the right amount of force too. Did you see him? He didn't swing twice. Just like this dude knew what he was doing.
Umbrella and everything too. Like,
he knew what he was doing, and his mask was intense. No one else out there had. He was ready for war.
That's what I was saying too. Yeah, he had a too sophisticated ass mask to be out there. Like, but no, I think you're right, Jake. I think there is a good possibility that there is law enforcement from outside the Twin Cities who are coming in and possibly causing these issues.
Business owners, they're having a tough go. So, like 2 AutoZones went up in flames. Like, when have black folks ever even gone in AutoZone?
I wouldn't be surprised if there was some type of insurance fraud going on. Someone's like, "Oh, it's my opportunity just to cash out on my business."
Right, and then they just feed the beast. The news says, "Oh, it's the black folks," because that's how they're painting it. Just about everywhere. Yeah, check out the videos they're showing. There are tons of people out there that are not even black. There are tons, and I'm not seeing them as much as we should. I mean, half the crowd at least is not black. I'm probably overestimating how many black people were out there.
Yeah, no, I think you guys. Well, a couple things. I think you guys would make some good points. Jay Gill, when you talk about people from outside the city coming in to kind of stoke these things, yeah, I think that's absolutely true, right? People are coming into the city, wrecking the city, and then kind of taking off back to their suburban homes, right? But hey, I was there supporting you, and wrecking the community a little bit, but I was there for the cause. But I think there's also people there that are coming to stoke fire to get people riled up so that type of destruction does happen. Like Dre said, the dude comes in with an umbrella and you see an African-American go up to him, like, "Hey, bro, what are you doing? That's not what we're out here for. We're trying to make a statement and you're destroying property." So he does all this stuff and then he dips. So I think you're finding that in every situation. You see a lot of these videos coming out about who's starting the fire and stuff. It's not black people in there starting fires. Again, if you're going to a protest, I don't think you carry flammable items, right? You're not bringing stuff to come in there to light up stuff.
We scared of fire and water. Sure.
Well, that too, but I'm just saying, like, you're not going, if you go into a protest, your intent is to protest, which I think you've seen we've done as a people for decades. The intentions are never to cause, damage to, businesses and things, especially not our own businesses. So I think you're seeing other people are coming in and kind of stoking these fires, no pun intended, but they're coming in and agitating situations and gassing it up. Again, no pun intended, but they're making these situations more, I don't want to say intense, but more destructive than they should be. And then they're leaving the city again. They're not from these communities.
Yeah.
I think they're using it as cover. Dre.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. They're using this as cover. I think you said it, Rob. We saw no other video of this dude. Dude showed up with a flick of a wrist, knocked out all them windows. That building went up in flame, and no one saw that dude again. He came on a mission.
Yeah.
And think about it, he was dressed in all black with an umbrella, just black head to toe. You see people out there. It's been humid this week. You see cats out there in t-shirts and and shorts, and this man's dressed black head to toe with a very sophisticated mask on.
Yeah, the first night. So, and I think you touched on, both y'all touched on insurance fraud, right? Business has been closed down.
That's
They've
what I
been
mean.
losing a lot of money. We're in the middle of the pandemic. People are unemployed. And
Right.
my insurance can cut the check. Like, the protests were right by my building. Maybe get this one too, bro. Like, help me out. Help me help you. I got this insurance check to let me rebuild. I can make some jobs. So I don't know. I don't want to say it's law enforcement, but I do think you got people coming in to agitate and, inflame the situation.
And even
people, you can look that up. People believe they know who it is. I don't know if they're correct or not, but I know he wasn't there for Mr. Floyd.
Oh yeah. I did see that they're allegedly.
Dog, don't put his name out
They
there.
allegedly know who he is. Yeah.
They said,
But even like me watching like lives, like Jay Gill said, so I don't know. I got some type of, I want to say satisfaction or like reassurance from watching the protests. I guess my curiosity was getting the best of me. I want to see what's going on within my city with these protests. But just watching these lives for the past few days, I mean, like you're saying, I'm seeing a lot more people who don't look like who would be in the community barking at these cops, all up in their face, barking at them. But then you see those who come with see those who come with the right intentions, who's coming with the essential items in case there's tear gas, in case there's injuries, water, and all that. You see those people bring that stuff. But like Rob said, people aren't bringing flammable, material to burn something down. You know what I mean? Normally you see someone that's going to help benefit in case something happens at the protest.
I don't think people left the house saying, what exactly do we need to burn down the whole block worth of building?
Yeah. And you know what else I think could have stemmed some of it? Is if you just arrest the guy right away. It happened Monday. You had the video Monday. They filed a police report that was quite frankly a lie, right? They lied in their police report about what happened. Said it was
common police. I know we can't get your guy to talk about this because it's not in his best interest, and I would never put him on camera. But my guess is that's just common. What am I trying to say? That's what they do. They lie on their police reports. They make it say what they want it to say. They're human beings. You know what? Give me a break of all this hero bullshit. People put on uniforms does not make them a hero. He wears a badge. He's got I don't know how many complaints.
18.
I know it's a separate conversation, but I'm sick of all the hero bullshit. And I'm guessing it's just common for police officers to lie on their sheets to make things worse than they actually are.
Yeah, but I think when you looked at it, right, they had the video Monday night or early Tuesday morning. The video got released Tuesday to the public. The public sees it, or probably even Monday because she did it live on Facebook. Yeah. The young lady did it live, but the video is released. You don't arrest this man until Friday. The city's been up in flames for 3 straight nights, and I mean,
guess that's what we got to do every time.
But even then, go having a press conference saying acting as if there's not enough evidence to bring this man in.
It makes no sense that he couldn't have arrested him. I mean, the video is blatant, right? It's blatant. You have enough evidence in that video alone to arrest this man.
Exactly.
Tuesday. And probably none of this rioting happens. You probably still have some protests, probably still have some people coming out to pay their respects to him right there on the 38th Street. But I don't think that moves to the precinct. I don't think it it turns into destruction of property if you make an arrest Tuesday, during the day, Tuesday night, whenever. I don't think it turns into that.
I actually don't think it would have changed anything. That's my personal opinion. Maybe for a few people on the, I don't really, because we've already discussed this. Black folks don't believe. I don't believe that he will get any jail time until I see the jail time. And even when they give him whatever they give him, if he gets anything, until I see him serve it all, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Not one bit.
Well,
we even saw that today when the news broke that he was taken into custody by the BCA, correct? Mm-hmm. People on Facebook, I saw that. They were like, I need to see the receipts. They're checking the jail rosters. Like, I need to see that he is in custody. And then finally, when those receipts came out, a lot of people were more at ease with that. Okay, he's actually in there then.
Yeah, so. See, and that's why I think some of it would have, I think you would have had protests. I don't think you would have had riots. I don't think buildings would have burned or anything like that. I do think you still would have had protests if an arrest is made earlier. But
I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. I believe they would have still did what they did.
If it was correct, was he in Florida when he was taken into custody?
That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's true or not, but they said they had like 100 cops protecting his block where he lived in Oakdale. And that's another issue is like he lives, and I get some of it is you don't want to live in.
No, fuck that.
Well,
fuck that.
Let me.
No, fuck that. No, I'm just kidding.
That's my point. My point being is if you're in the community where you're arresting people, if there's gang activity, you're taking gang members in, and you live 2 doors down from the dude you arrested, you don't think there's going to be some type of retaliation on your house if you taking people's homies and that type of thing out of their neighborhood? So I get maybe not living in the actual
response. Can I respond to that? Can I respond to that bullshit?
Okay. No, just like I get like not living in the actual community, right? But you got to live in those surrounding suburbs. So if you're serving Minneapolis, you got to live in, Richfield, Northeast, Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center. If you're working in North, I think you have to live close enough to the community to engage with that community, to understand the demographics, to understand what the people are going through. That's my opinion. I don't know if it's feasible for a cop to live physically in that community.
Fuck that.
Coming from that community, then moving out of the community once he gets that job, then
I don't have a problem with that. I think that's feasible too.
If you do not live in the community, you should not be able to police. Now, I will give you a break on the gang units because the gang units don't, I can get why they're afraid to live near the people they're arresting when you're talking about just gang, but all police aren't dealing with gangs. So I think the regular patrol guys, I think they need to be from Minneapolis or very, there needs to be some sort of mileage. You can't live from here. I'm sorry, but if you don't give a fuck about the community, it's easy to have your hands in your pocket and your neck on somebody from that community's. And I know that gentleman's not from Minneapolis, but you guys get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's easier to just murder us and then go hide out in Oakdale.
I'll give you that. But I have no problem. If you're from that community and then you move out once you get the job, I'm just saying I don't know how feasible it is for a cop to be in a community, policing the community. If they have to arrest somebody, that person's family wants revenge, it's too easy to touch you at that point in time. Now, if you're from there and you've moved out, I don't have any problem with that.
I feel like what you're saying is the only people that have to have skin in the game is their victims.
What do you mean?
It's like they come in, they kill us, and then they get to go run out and hide 100 miles from here.
No. I didn't say that. I said immediately surrounding suburbs. So you're engaging with that community. and you understand the demographics.
Okay, yeah, I think there should be some sort of mileage. Like, you can't live outside of this. You can't live in freaking, you know.
So don't be coming from outside the
Northfield
coming in, but if you're in the surrounding suburbs,
you should not be policing our streets, and you're from Farmington.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, if somebody was from Richfield, right, and they were policing South Minneapolis, would y'all really have an issue with that? Are they right?
No.
That's what I'm saying. They're close enough to engage with that. You're probably doing your shopping in that community. Right?
They care about the community. That's their community. If you're in Richfield,
right?
You know, if you're in Bloomington, but if you're in, you know, like I said, if you're in Farmington, Minnesota, if you're in Northfield, you have no business. If you're from St. Cloud or some ridiculous, you have no business policing in Minneapolis.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with y'all there. I'm just saying, where I hear people talking about they should live in that community, I struggle with that, because I think there could be some ramifications to living in the community or policing.
Their protection, their well-being, they probably shouldn't be in.
Are those ramifications worse than having, in my opinion, racist patrolling our cities?
No, I don't think there's anything worse than a racist patrolling our city. I just flat out, I don't think there's.
What do you think people in Northfield grow up thinking about me and you, when what they have to represent me and you is television, which we already talked about how it represents me and you to the rest of the world?
I might dash here in a second. My sister said stuff's getting pretty real over by her. I'm gonna have to go out there, but sorry, repeat your question.
So you just can't put the pod first.
Come on, man.
I'm just messing with you. Hey.
No, he was saying, what do you think like someone from Northfield's representation is of us living in Northfield? You know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you think they're probably afraid? And
I can tell you the same thing Trump said, right? They're thugs. They're criminals. Look at the crime rate in Minneapolis. You know, they're welfare recipients.
Start looting. Start shooting, right? That racist.
Well, I think that's their perception of us, right? Because if you, like I said, if you're not engaging with the community, if you're not interacting, you've got no real understanding of how they live, what their struggles are, their day-to-day life. It's like us going to Lake Minnetonka, right? Like, we grew up in the city. We never went to Lake Minnetonka. Best we had was Calhoun and Nokomis. We get out there, it's like, oh, this is a whole different world. Oh, these people got boats. They got,
look how they look at us when we go out there. That's what I'm like. We can't have them policing us.
Yeah.
Even Minnetonka is too far.
We had people looking out their back window looking at us because we're on jet skis on their lake.
To be fair, did A-Rob have his two-tone do-rag on?
Nah, he had the solid black one on. He was
oh, my God. I don't think I had a do-rag on. And there's video evidence of me not having a do-rag on. But the dude, and Dre, remember this? The dude who rented us the jet skis watched us the entire time we were out there on the lake.
He even told us when we came back, oh, I was watching y'all the whole time, because he thought we were probably going to go steal his jet skis.
Bro, it was literally, he's like, oh, you guys did it right. You went slow in the shallow end. You got out to the deep parts and went fast. Yeah, you guys handled it right. It's like, you watched us? You watched us the entire time we were out? Bro, watched us the entire time we were on the lake.
We were out there like almost 90 minutes to 2 hours. Like,
yes.
To be fair, Dre be dressed like Ice Cube and
swimwear. In swimwear.
I
had like a muscle shirt and some shorts on. Like,
but if you got on some FUBU swimwear,
it was platinum FUBU. It's classy.
You got Fat Albert on your shirt. They're gonna watch you, brother.
Oh man. So what do y'all think? And before I dive into my reasonings behind why I think they gave him the charges that he did, why y'all think that he got the charges that they gave him, which the charges were third degree
murder, second degree manslaughter.
Yeah.
Because he's a police officer, so they're gonna say, part of the reason he's there is because a crime happened or whatever, and he was just doing his job, and maybe he went a little overboard. I think being a police officer, I don't know how to explain it or articulate it. I think just simply being a police officer protects him a lot more than if me and you were out there on someone's neck. Now that's second degree, maybe even first degree murder. You know, and it's just different because they're in uniform. It protects you.
What you think, Dre?
I think Jay Gill hit on the head right there. Because like just paraphrasing what the definition of those charges were, it ultimately comes down to negligence or poor decision making. Ultimately, that's why they kind of gave them. I think that's why they gave it to them. They're like, oh, he was, being negligent of his power or his knee on his neck or something like that, or his decision making. I don't agree with that. He knew what he was doing.
If me and you did,
yeah, like I said, if any of us would did it, if it was us three, all three of us would have been locked up right away. Like even if someone said even under the jail, but seeing that he is a cop, they take his time. Like, oh, we got to look into it. We got to make all the evidence is right.
we can't say, oh, we were just doing our jobs. We were showing up to a scene. We don't have any of that to defend us. Exactly. And I'm not saying there should be no defense for police officers, but in this case, listen, there just has to be a way to hold these people accountable. And the laws and every single thing makes it more difficult. So what do these people have to fear? Maybe burning their house or their building down around them. I mean, that's it.
Yeah, and I think you guys touched on some good points, and I think the reason why they brought it is because I think they had the best chance of getting a conviction on that, right? So if you come with first degree, which is like premeditated, you went into intend,
he's gonna beat that
intent to do it. I think that's hard. I think that's hard to prove in court. Because they're saying he's kneeling on the guy. Maybe he didn't know. He didn't pull his gun and shoot him. Like the intent wasn't there. It wasn't premeditated. So I think they have a better chance of getting a conviction on third degree and manslaughter than they would going for something overarching like first degree murder, which I feel like this is. But can you prove it in court without a reasonable doubt? I think
how does that fall? Not to cut you off, but how does that fall with the former employer, both of them? That they worked at the same spot together, or both the arresting officer and George Floyd worked at a bar over on Lake Street together.
Yeah, I don't know how that'll play an effect into it. Having like a prior kind of association or relationship at all. I don't know how that'll play an effect in it, but I do think from a prosecution standpoint, this is the most likely to get a conviction, right? It's hard to prove some of the other stuff. Mm-hmm. I think it's easier to prove third degree than anything. And also, this is just at, I don't know if it's the state or whatever level, but it's a local level, right? The FBI is in here too. So they can also bring separate charges against him for hate crime, civil rights violation. Mm-hmm. So he could be looking at dual cases and getting charged in one with the conviction of third degree, and then you tack on the federal crime as well and add that time on. My preference, he don't walk the streets again, ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
And definitely never hold public service job. Before we move on from this to the next thing, how many, what kind of, how much time you think he'll do, if any? Just a couple words. How much time does he get, Dre? We'll start with you, Dre. How many years he going to do? Months, days, years?
I mean, ideally, I would at least say the 20 years. I mean, okay. I'm just saying that because there's a little more evidence with this one compared to the prior conviction of a police officer who shot the woman. He got 12 and a half.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't have like the strongest amount of evidence. This one, we have a lot more evidence clearly showing the murder. You know what I mean? So I would say maybe 20, 25.
What would you say, Robert?
I say they give him 20. He does maybe 10.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. My bad.
No, I was gonna say I think get 20. He's out on good behavior or rehabilitated. People probably aren't. This isn't his top of mind. 10 years from now, they sneak him out. I think he's out on parole in 10.
I think no time. Probably a bonus, relocated, working somewhere in Trump's cabinet in the next 4 years.
You know what? That's funny. You say that. I feel like if he gets off, I feel like they'll relocate him and give him another cop job somewhere.
They choked out Garner on camera. I think it was mostly on camera.
Yeah.
They choked him out to death. Similar, guy got no time. Guy beat that case. Come on, guys. Bonus, no time, bonus pay, relocation, and a role in Trump's administration in the next 4 years for sure.
No,
that's what I'm going with.
I think you think the city's bad now. I think if this case goes,
I don't think they care. We've been
there.
Not we. I don't want to act like I've been out there because I haven't. The city's been burning for all these days. They don't care. They don't care.
The arrest was made today.
Your money is going to rebuild this city. Period.
Well, it's your money too, but
please, I ain't paying. I ain't paying nothing.
Taxpayer dollars are going to rebuild it.
Yeah,
I think the city will do some of it, but I feel like Target. That's a private. They're gonna have to rebuild their store, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think the city's gonna help with that.
Do you think they relocate their store from the area?
No, I think
there's money to be made.
Yeah, I think that's a profitable enough area. What nobody's addressed either. Well, I'm not gonna go there. I was just gonna say that there was there's homelessness right across the bridge.
Yeah,
3-4 blocks. There's homelessness. So
a
lot of those people looting could be the homeless too, trying to get stuff. So
yeah.
Dang, y'all homeless get such a bad rap. Here you come shitting on them.
Damn. We can't deny that Tent City is like 3 blocks away.
Yeah, like literally.
That's you know what? Let's just keep it moving. That's
all in all, rest in peace, George Floyd. I do think there's a lot of pride in the city, and the stand that people have taken and really stood up for this. And I think even across the nation, people have stood up for this and said, enough is enough. And I do feel like this time is different. I just feel something different this time.
So far, so good, for sure. Yeah. So far, so good. Can we keep the tension? Can we keep the pressure on? Yeah. Can we keep the pressure on? Yeah, we'll see.
Speaking of taking black people for granted, y'all boy, Joe Biden.
Diamond Joe? Is that what you call him, Trey?
Diamond Joe.
That's funny you say that because there's a casino on the border of Minnesota and Iowa called Diamond Joe. Diamond Joe's Casino.
Hey, Rob, I heard you already voted for him twice, mail-in.
Here you go, trumping it up. No pun intended. That's going to be the name of the episode. No pun intended.
No pun intended.
No, he comes out. He gets on a radio show with Charlemagne the God. He does
God.
Charlemagne the God. And he tells Charlemagne, and I'm probably going to misquote him. And so if y'all know, say it and correct me. But he tells him, if you have an issue deciding between voting for Trump or for me, then you ain't black. My guy. You don't get to determine who's black and who's not black based on whether or not they vote for your punk ass.
Well, he just did.
He's got a long history of degrading the black community.
Oh, and let me read some of what he said in the past.
Please do.
Yes, I have it prepared here. I'm going to read it in my white guy voice. See how that goes. Now, this is regarding the 1994 crime bill. Keep in mind, at the time, we already in 1994 had the highest percent of people behind bars. And of course, whatever's high is even higher for us. And okay, so he says it doesn't matter if they, and y'all figure out who they is real quick. It doesn't matter if they were deprived as youth, if they're the victims of society. end result is they are about to beat up my wife. And he said a bunch of other stuff I didn't copy down.
My mom.
My sister. I don't want to ask what made them do this. He's not interested in solutions at the root. That's what that sounds like to me. I don't want to ask what made them do this. They must be taken off the streets. I underlined for myself a question, who is he talking to? But I guess that's obvious. He goes on. Unless we do something about the cadre, and I may be saying that wrong, cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them. You should have seen how he said it. Tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock. He said that on the floor, without parents, without any conscience developing. They will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from here. And Madam President, we have predators on the street. They are beyond the pale. Many of these people. If you still don't know who these people are, you're stupid. I don't care why they are a male factor of society. We have an obligation to cordon them off from the rest of society. Try to help them. Try to change their behavior, but they are in jail. He's saying this in 1994, where we already have the highest percentage of our population in prison. And this is the guy that you ain't black if you don't vote for him.
So it's interesting you brought that up, because I did quite a bit of research on that too. And then he said in that speech, I don't want to know why. He also put into the crime bill that rehabilitation could not be a condition for their release or sentencing. Basically, that they are beyond repair. So don't factor that.
He said that.
There's no
way. Many of these people, hold on. Many of them, what did he say?
Can't read good.
Well, I did write some chicken scratch.
Sound it out.
He said many of them are beyond the pale. Many of those people are beyond the pale. They cannot be fixed. They are going to be predators at that time in 15 years.
Yep. And actually, he was part of that predator talk when the bill was introduced by Clinton. Mm-hmm. And then he doubled down at it in 2016 and said that it really restored American cities. Now, that to me sounds like Trump talk, right? Yeah. Bring back the good old days, law and order.
And these are our two options. Trump, outwardly racist. Biden, little less outwardly racist. But it's interesting who's had the most effect on black people in a negative way, Trump or Biden?
I would say Biden, and here's why. I'll be curious what Andre says, but I would say Biden because Biden has been in a public service role. He's been a senator since 78, I think it was, somewhere around that time. He was 29, like one of the youngest senators in Delaware at the time. He's been in these positions to impact policy, impact bills longer than Trump has. Now, Trump has been terrible as a landlord to people in NYC, right? But I don't think he's had the ability to affect policies that go nationwide like Biden has.
Until now.
Right.
And it'll be interesting. Maybe we can ask that question again when Trump is out of office, depending on how long, who's had more of an effect. But ladies and gentlemen, these are your two options, or at least the two options the media is going to feed to you. You will actually have more options, but for some reason we don't take them seriously. When we came to the South, we had Bernie. We had who you woke folk vote for? Warren. You black woke folk. We can't get the two best candidates. We vote for Biden, the older black folk in the South. I hate to say it, but it's disgusting that we got this man.
What you think, Dre? Who's worse?
I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna have to agree with you. Go with Biden. He's been in a position in the politics game for a while, and like you said, he had opportunities to be more influential on helping the African American community. And it seems like outside of when he linked up with Obama, that man had a problem with us and didn't want to really help us whatsoever.
He
Where
wanted
Trump,
us cordoned off from
yeah,
society,
where you see
in
Trump
jail.
out and open with the shit. Biden's just got this like, was it smoke and mirrors going on for us? Trying to like,
His
oh, I'm with
mask
you
on.
guys. What you say?
He's got his mask on.
Yeah.
He's one person. He appears to be one person, but he's truly another. I want to dive a bit back into his background because this is his, I don't know if y'all knew this or not, but this is his third presidential run. So he ran in 1988, right? Withdrew from the primaries because he was found to be dishonest. He was taking snippets of other people's lives and portraying them as his own. He got busted doing this and withdrew from the 1988 election. Then he ran in the primaries in 2008 against Obama. Lost that, obviously. Shout out to Obeezy. Then joined him as his vice president.
Obama used him. He needed him for whatever he needed him for.
Right. So, but he's always championed himself as like let me make sure I get this right, as a center left, right? So his policies really affect the middle class and the working class Americans. However, he was opposed to forced busing to end segregation, and said, hold on, I'm gonna make sure I quote this my guy right. Said it's called school segregation, the most racist concept you can come up with. This is the guy that we have to vote for, besides the bird brain that we have in office right now.
Do you feel
deep-seated beliefs?
Do you feel people can change? He said those things. We don't play them on TV because he should have never made it over Bernie. He should have never made it over Warren. There's probably 2 or 3 other people he should have never made it over. But, blacks in the South, older, particularly voted him in and really destroyed anyone else's chances. I hate y'all niggas. Do you think they can change? Do you ever, it's not that you, I mean, of course people can change. Do you ever believe them? Would you ever believe Biden doesn't hold those beliefs? That Biden isn't a racist? Biden, my bad.
Go ahead, Dre. Let me ponder this for a second. Do you think he can change? Do you think he's not a racist?
Do you, if someone does some racist shit, like says, we don't want to desegregate schools, how do you feel about them to the end of your life? Do you ever feel like this person, they're a good person, I want to vote for this person for president?
I feel like no, a person won't change because they have those underlining beliefs. And with him kind of just being in the spotlight, I feel like he's just like, well, lack of better term, shucking and jiving just to get where he needs to be, trying to get to that presidential seat. But once he's in that presidential seat, we usually see all those little campaign promises and all that go right out the window. We see all that energy and everything go right out the window. So with that, I think he's not going to change. We're going to start seeing who the true Joe Biden is, being in that position of power if elected our president.
And all we'll have is a less blunt racist, outwardly racist person in office. That's it. But in terms of policy, how much different will it be? But I don't want to ask that question. You get a chance at that question, Rob. Can someone who says what you said, he said, and I believe he said it because you said it, so that's what we're saying. Do you think that person can change?
I do think he can change. I don't think his beliefs will change. I think he can change. I don't think his belief will change.
Shake your shoulders when you say that. Chucking and jiving.
Biden was born in 1942 in Pennsylvania, right? So for the first 20 years of his life, nobody viewed black people as equals. So you got to tell me from the time he was 1 to the time he was 22, 23, he just had this radical idea where he thought black people were equal to him. There's no way you're going to convince me that he doesn't have some deep-seated beliefs about us
Mm-hmm.
And there's no way you'll be able to convince him that even if he gets in power, that he's going to do things top of mind to help the African American community, unless there's advisors in his thing that say, hey, I've created this proposal. It will help the African American community. You should endorse it because X, Y, Z. I don't think he's going to come up with something top of mind that says, or if he's signing a policy, he's not going to think, how is this affecting the African American community? Is it detrimental to him? Is it beneficial to him? I don't think that thought process about us will ever change for him. I think people can change. Huh?
He'll just like play his part.
Yeah. I think he'll say what needs to be said.
To retain power. To get power and then to retain it.
But I don't think at the end of the day he's going to have our best interest at mind or top of mind when considering policies and things. He has a long history of not considering the benefits to African Americans. So it's hard for me to believe that he will suddenly change and put that top of mind.
Well, why is the black community maybe this isn't a question y'all got to answer, but I'm going to ask it, and then we can move on. Bernie Sanders, in the 70s when he was making those statements I read to you guys, Bernie was on the other side of that. Bernie was saying a lot of things that, in my opinion, were trying to get to the root cause. He was calling the bill a bill like this isn't a crime bill. This is a punishment bill. This is retaliation bill. This doesn't solve anything. We just want to throw more people in prison to pretend to be tough, so, more center-leaning people will vote Democratic. Why? And let's be really short with this. Why can't we ever support that? Like, why is Bernie such a guy we don't trust in our community? But Biden, but Clinton.
Who was with Biden? Who was with Biden for those past 8 years? Who was in front of him? Who was his partner?
Obama used him to get a particular voting base to vote for him. He played politics by bringing in Biden.
Using Obama?
I don't think he can. I mean, yes, but no. Now, yes, now. But Obama chose him. It's like like a pimp and a bitch in the street. She chose me. Now I can use her because I'm the pimp, but the bitch got to choose me first.
But you don't think Biden is being put up on game? He's like, all right, this is going to help me with a rocky past I know I have. So if I ever want to be president, I got that glory with Obama in my back pocket right now.
It's sickening.
It's called about being seen with the right people and all that.
What are your concerns, Rob? I know that you're one of those woke folk and you liked Warren, and actually I really like Warren. I know I'm talking a lot of trash, but I really like Warren too. And when I really look at it, maybe she was the absolute best candidate. What turned you off on Bernie though? And keep it quick because we ain't trying to turn this into a Bernie thing.
I never really got too much into Bernie. I didn't know if I ever thought he would have a legit chance. I know people say he leans too far to the left. He's a socialist, right?
That's what we need. Not necessarily a socialist. I think people who say that is kind of like the people who, it's just become a dirty term to throw on someone.
Yeah, I just never really got too far into Bernie. I don't know if I just never did enough research on him or what, but I just was never fully aware of his policies besides his Medicare for all, right? Like his healthcare should be a human right, which I fully agree with because other countries are doing it, albeit with less people than us. But I never really got behind his other policies or researched his other policies, his other stands on different topics to know enough to say, hey, I'm a ride with Bernie. So that's my short and sweet.
I think his policies benefit us. I think at the end of the day, it comes down to really stupid shit. I don't think he's cool enough, if that makes sense, right? He has no cool factor. No rhythm or something. So a lot of blacks don't fuck with him, I guess. But let's keep this thing moving, Rob. I know you got some more questions.
Yeah, I got some questions for you. What would y'all want to see out of Biden for him to get y'all vote? I mean, he pretty much locked it up anyway.
I think your question is, or maybe, well, you can correct me if you want. Maybe the better question is, how do we demand he do A, B, and C if we're going to hold our vote, which I think we should. We shouldn't be guaranteed Democratic voters. I think that's the better question. How do we even demand? Because that's what Diddy says, right? We gotta get something. How do we do that?
I don't know if that was the better question. It's a more
it's the better question.
How do you do that? I've got to see plans. Who are you going to have working on this, right? Here's my plan for the African American community. I understand that you guys don't have, equity in jobs, right? You guys aren't getting the equal opportunity to get jobs. Your incomes are typically lower. Your housing situations are terrible. You're forced into these ghettos, right? What is your plan to change this for us? Who are you going to have working on it? What's the time frame for it? And how is this really going to benefit our community? Is this all talk, or are these plans actually what's the word? I'm not implementable, but are these plans feasible, right? Because I think that's where Bernie was kind of a bit off. Nobody felt like his Medicare and Medicaid for all was feasible because it was going to raise the tax base. We're going to all have to pay all these taxes. They didn't feel like it was feasible. Show me your plan. Who's working on your plan? What's the timeline? Tell me why it's feasible. I think those are things that I would need to see addressed.
What makes you comfortable voting for a racist, Dre?
I mean,
is that the better question?
Right. I kind of agree with A-Rob. Not to be just jumping on the bandwagon, but yeah, you gotta definitely lay out your 4 to 8 year plan for us. You gotta let us see what you're going to do to help benefit us. What's your intentions? Like you said, who's going to be working on this? What's our expectations of when this all be happening? Like, we just need a full-fledged out plan to really solidify us giving you our vote to be our president. We need to see what we're getting out of this deal at this point.
I have a question for y'all. Does it matter though? In all honesty, has any does the plans for the Black community matter? But I mean, in all honesty, most of us are probably going to vote Democratic anyways, right? Because we're going to say that Trump is so bad that Biden's a better option to represent us. But has any politician, I know we've just started getting equal rights within the last 30, 40 years, but has any politician ever implemented something for the Black community that has truly benefited us?
No, and it's all words because we can't force him to do anything. Once he gets the power, he got the power, what can we do then? Threaten to vote him out in 4 years, Well,
that's why I'm sorry, I'm gonna jump in there, but that's why I said I need to know who's working on this plan, right? Because as the president, you're probably not gonna be working on it. But if you assign somebody, now we can hold their feet to the fire. Hey, you had one job. Where are we at? Where are we at on this timeline?
Well, with the deep-seated views I think Biden has, I don't think he'll get someone, like you said, more extreme enough. I feel like short of bringing in Bernie, bringing in Warren, bringing in Farrakhan or someone as his vice president, I won't have confidence. I won't have confidence. People will get on me and say, hey, Trump is the worst. And you know what? Maybe worse is better than a little less worse. Maybe something will happen if we have this monster in the White House and he's doing all this evil shit outwardly. Then maybe the people will wake up. And if we vote for the devil that's, a little more on the low, that claims he's a born again, non-racist, I don't think we're going to get the policies. I feel like we'll probably get Ann Klobuchar. I mean, she has a crooked smile. I mean, I don't like her. Amy Klobuchar? Klobuchar? Kleba?
Right.
Klobuchar.
Okay. What a joke. What a absolute joke. So short of him putting in place, I need to know who his cabinet is beforehand. Because afterhand,
submit the roster before.
You motherfucking got it. And we need to see Warren somewhere when dealing with the bankers, dealing with that kind of stuff. I know he's not going to include Bernie because Bernie's too radical for him. I happen to believe we need radical, like real radical. Remember, Martin Luther King was radical. Like, what a joke. I don't think If I really based my vote on Joe Biden earning it, I wouldn't vote for Joe Biden. It's really that simple.
I don't know if we'd vote if you're talking about having to earn our vote, which was something that Diddy said was like they're gonna have. Well, he said he was gonna hold the vote hostage, and I'll pause so Drake can insert the clip. But I don't think that's feasible. In all honesty, right? Well, you
can't do it.
Oh, how you gonna tell all black people not to vote because what? That the person that's there doesn't have their best interest at heart? Well, then you're a hypocrite because you voted the last couple years, right? You voted for Clinton. Obama. You voted for Clinton. You voted for whoever was Gore opposing Bush. Like, so
Kerry.
You've done all these things. So what are you gonna tell? All of a sudden, you feel like you can hold the vote hostage. You don't get to speak for the whole race and saying you're gonna hold it hostage because no matter what they tell us, they more than likely ain't gonna implement it. So what are we just wasting votes? We just not gonna vote?
I'm with Diddy. Let's figure out a way to put Biden on notice. Hey, we're not just voting for you, buddy.
What you gonna do then? Vote for Trump? Like, because you got more options, but you got two real options, right? So either you vote for Biden, essentially.
That's the two evils.
or you don't vote.
Man,
that's how
maybe we just burn some shit up. I don't know.
But no, I mean, like, I get
ballot.
Huh?
Burn the ballot.
Yeah, burn the ballot. I get what he's saying, right? In order to get our vote, don't assume you have our vote. But I just don't agree with it. Like,
but look Biden said, you ain't black. Like he said, I believe he said that in that way. You ain't black. He said that for a reason. You ain't black. He didn't say it the way he. You guys get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
he didn't say it in the proper way. He called himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, come on. He got us in the bag. We're fucking hostage. He's holding us hostage.
I'm not disagreeing.
Vote for the Green Party. Vote for the Green.
Well, you could do that, right? If you had, if the black people felt like that was their best option as far as getting policies that would benefit our community, yeah, vote for them. But
we need a council. We need like a black people council. If we went to Trump and said, hey, Trump, we will vote for you, guarantee you the office if you do this and that, we're more likely to get something than to talk to Biden at all.
Give you that second stimulus check, you're going to vote for him for sure.
Well, no, we don't need more than $1,200. We're going to need $1,200 a month or something. Like, no, I swear to God that like, it seems like Trump's that kind of guy. However he can win, however he can gain power, that's what he'll do.
Yeah.
Now, will he go back on it eventually? Probably with his old lying ass. But I almost feel like if we just had like black people council and, we were just sitting in there and, Trump came in like, what can I do to get your vote?
Don't forget you got to do the little.
If you guys voted for me, it'd be huge.
Yeah. The greatest vote you ever did.
Yeah.
Perfect.
African Americans came out for me in record numbers, most that have ever voted. If we, none of us got a good Trump. If we had some sort of council that could speak for us, I guarantee you Trump will make some sort of deal. That's just kind of nasty person he is, just to win.
But Diddy said the same thing, right? He said what do you call it? A business? He said it's a business.
This is business. We know the Democrats are just as racist as the Republicans. Just as racist. They just play non-racist on TV.
Business, not business.
No, business with a D.
Business. He was giving them the business. I get it, but he said too, like, we got to make a deal. Well, what deal? And first off, Diddy can't speak for the entire black community, right? I get what he's saying.
Oh yeah, he can.
All in the videos.
Did you have that CD, Puff Daddy and the Family? Yeah, he's good.
I was a Tupac man through and through. My loyalty never wavered. Now I listen to Lil Biggie occasionally if I was in the club and they played it.
Nigga, you was 14 when Biggie was out. You wasn't in no damn club.
I said I'd listen to it in the club if they
The
played.
book club, the chess club.
Nigga was in Sylvan listening to Biggie with the two-tone on, hitting the Diddy Bop.
Man, I ain't had no. I did. You know what? That's funny though. I lied because me and Carlos did the little performance for the Risen Christ Talent Show.
Puffy and Mace. Which one were you?
I think I was Mace.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't have made any sense because. Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, should have probably flipped that, but.
Yeah, and you got the dolphin teeth just like Diddy. Yeah, you should. Yeah, it would have been more realistic.
Take that.
I just don't feel like you could say any one person. Like people had that same problem with Jay-Z. Look, when Jay-Z joined the NFL, people had, this nigga's a shutout, blah, blah, blah. I don't think you say any one person speaks for the entirety of black people. I mean, look at Candace Owens, or what's her name? What's that one Republican chick's name? Yeah, y'all know who I'm talking about.
I think it's Candace Owens.
Yeah. Like she dang sure don't represent black people, not black people that we know.
But we need her voices. We should just have a council. I mean, she ain't. But all black people should be in this council or should be able to vote, and then we should pick our representatives, and then we should just go up in there and, hey, what can you give us? And we need to go to the Democrat. What can you give us?
And then present the options.
I swear to God, we need to just go in there like it's business. Look, hey, you racist, they racist. We don't like y'all much either. What that paper about? What you gonna do for us?
Jay Gill won his UBI. They tell Jay Gill he get $1 million reparations. He done. Stamp it and everything.
If they just give me the $1 million, done.
Yeah, your ass do not need to be on that council whatsoever. You would sell us out.
The lowest
I'll come out of there with a big ass bag. Like, y'all might as well just go back to Africa because this shit ain't working. This shit ain't working out. and then y'all see me and fucking getting chauffeured around the town. Hey, like, where'd you get all that money from? Just drive. Y'all ain't gonna see me. But I know. I mean, I think it's time. I wish black people. I wish we could have some togetherness and come together, create a council, and yeah. What you gonna give me us for our vote? And then they come back to us like, well, Biden said he gonna do this, Trump gonna do this. Let's vote on it, and that's where we going. And then they could just count our vote just like that. Boom, all blacks this way.
They going either this away or that away.
But I feel like it's like that Chappelle thing, the racial draft for politics.
Oh, yeah. Black delegation.
Like we the black delegation choose.
Yeah, we just have them two show up. We're a pretty big voting block, I think. Especially in certain states. I don't know about Minnesota, but I think we could. Yeah,
we would have to see some actual change, even outside that council. We would have to say, we want X amount of people in your cabinet. We negotiate. We want X amount of things. This is what we want. We want this amount of reparations every year. We can settle that.
Just call it reparations every year. No, it's just part of the deal. Nigga.
Yeah, you got to pay us. This is what we want.
Yeah,
we want this amount.
Double my salary. Whatever I make, just double it.
No, heck
every year. Every year. And if I don't make nothing, just give me a smooth 100K.
Smooth 100K, huh?
Yo ass. No, but I think too. I'm gonna touch back on some of the first part of the episode with George Floyd too. I think we need, because Minnesota, and I don't think I touched on this earlier, but because Minnesota has some of the worst racial disparities in the nation, we need people that sit in all government departments at high levels that can actually implement some changes. If y'all really want to see change, that's what I think it's going to take. We got to have people that can make decisions. at high levels. You can't put us at no, director role and expect us to be able to make changes saying you're diversifying your cabinet. Put us in a position where we can make change. Otherwise, I feel like this is going to be the same stuff year after year after year.
Let us be the people who review police cases. They'll come up in there just guilty.
But legit, I think legit that's if they have some better oversight, right?
Let the community let them have to answer to the community. Yeah. We leave power in so few hands and that's expect justice.
And we're not in those positions where we get to decide. We're not in those positions where we hold the power. So typically it doesn't benefit us either way.
Yeah. Those puppets don't move if you ain't got the strings. We need to be calling some shots. We need to be running some of these shows.
Yeah. So
otherwise, the only other seat is the audience, and you just get whatever they do. You just get however they play.
Yeah. So what else, y'all? Y'all got anything else on Floyd or Biden?
Rest in peace, brother.
Yeah. And condolences to his family, and also to, thoughts and prayers to everybody affected in the communities that have been affected by the riots and protests. But,
be careful what you're burning down.
Yeah, for sure.
I just hope it leads to some real change this time. So I feel different about it. I don't know about y'all, but I definitely feel different about this than any other one that we've experienced so far.
We'll see how long they can sustain it. Is there another way for us to put pressure? I mean, I hate for us to have to continue. And again, I do feel like it's cheap for me to say us because I'm not out there. But y'all get what I mean. I haven't been out there. Do we have to stay out there? Do we have to break curfew? Do we have to burn shit down? Or is there another way for us to put pressure on these folks? I hope there is.
The resignation. Freeman, it took him entirely too long. You got to go. You got to go. The Hennepin County attorney, you attorney general, you got to go, bro.
Did he resign?
No, I'm just saying that this is, you talking about other ways to keep up the pressure. He's got to go, man. It took him entirely too long after seeing that video. It's bad when people around the nation are looking at this and saying, yo, this was dead wrong. Like, I don't think I've heard anybody defend the officer's actions. Now they have made some racist comments about, black people not procreating and stuff, but nobody said the officer wasn't even in the wrong. I don't think I've heard one person say the officer wasn't in the wrong. So,
hey Trump, if you hear this, let's make a deal. My vote is on sale.
Well, with that being said, this has been another episode of 3 and a